We on the mark. We on the mark. Welcome to On the Mark with Marc Clarke. Mark bringing you entertainment news, interviews and hot topics, lifestyle news, sports and more. With fun and informative content. Got it locked in. We on the mark.
Yes, welcome to On the Mark. I am Marc Clarke, and again, I'm so excited. Number one, I'm excited because, one of my favorite people in the world. I was just thinking about this. I ran to the store before I came on, and I was like, look at God. I was growing up in Little Springfield, Illinois, and I've always been a fan of speakers and motivators, and Willie Jolley has been one of the greatest ones for the last blank years. And I was just thinking as I was in the grocery store, I'm like, I'm about to talk to Willie on my show. I've known Willie as a friend for decades, and Willie's given me advice, free advice, by the way, over the years. So it went from a concept in my mind to reality, and that Willie's all about that. And so again, I'm excited about this. So I'm going to have Willie come on. I'm going to do headlines first, but then we'll talk to Willie. But I'm going to have Willie on because if he wants to chime in, I want to be here. So ladies and gentlemen, without any further ado, the Willie Jolley joins us. What's going on, sir? How are you?
I'm awesome. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you okay, sir. I see you in your studio doing your thing. I see you.
I'm in my studio doing my thing. Excited, delighted, and uplifted, encouraged, and inspired to be on the mark with my friend Marc Clarke.
So, Willie, I'm going to do my headlines, and you can chime in. You can chime in or not.
Okay.
A couple of headlines I'm going through, and then we'll hop into the interview, okay?
Sounds great.
All right, so this is me, the newsman. So again, Mark the newsman. So headline, world headlines, Minnesota and Trend City sue to stop federal immigration crackdown following the fatal shootings of Renona Nicole Good by an ICE agent last week. The state of Minnesota, Minneapolis, and St. Paul filed a lawsuit yesterday seeking to stop the unprecedented surge of U.S. immigration authorities. The suit claims the immigration officers' tactics run afoul of the First Amendment and violate the state's sovereignty. That'll be interesting. Again, Willie, I'm sorry, I'm gonna bring you on. So, Willie, this story seems to, though the ICE challenge has been around, it seems like this woman, who happened to be a white woman in Minnesota, it feels like this was the final straw. It feels like, right? The nation is outraged. Why do you think this is different from all the other things we've been watching on television? Is it the fact that she was a mom, a woman, a white woman, or just it's just the timing?
All the above, okay? And the fact that we see the video that they claiming that she was trying to run them down. You could see that she was turning her wheel away from the gentleman, and he shot her in the head, and that is just murder. So whether you are agree with the president or not, the video says that this woman was killed, and she did not have to be killed.
Yeah, and I think the quick response was also, it's like, don't try to, what do they say? Well, I'm not gonna use the phrase, but don't lie to us, basically.
Right. Don't look, it's gaslighting. It's called gaslighting.
Yes.
The sky is purple. When you're looking up and it's blue, it's purple. Okay, it is blue. But I'm telling you, it's purple, and no matter what you say, they keep saying it's polka dot, it's purple. That our eyes do see what we see. Okay, so
we see. Looks like the rich are getting richer. Paramount Skydance's effort to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery has entered their proxy fight and lawsuit era following the WBD board's repeated rebuffing of its hostile takeover bid and decision to stick to its deal with Netflix. Paramount lodged a lawsuit yesterday to force WBD to disclose more details about its $83 billion deal with Netflix and announced it would commence a proxy battle to nominate new directors that would accept Paramount's $30 per share bid. This is interesting. It's like I say, the risk getting richer, because we're seeing this happen all over the place, where one wealthy group wants to acquire something else, and then they're going to go ahead and just try to switch the whole board to make it happen. And I think with our president in office, those who are aligned with him seem to have an advantage. But I don't know. I think this one may, I don't know. Paramount's pretty powerful, but Netflix is also pretty powerful. So this will be interesting to see what happens in this battle.
Well, this is an example of the way that the president has instilled in people's minds that you keep fighting, you double down, no matter what, and you make this. If you can't get the circumstances you want in life, then you will do whatever you got to do, even if it's in a lack of integrity. You'll do whatever you got to do to get the circumstances to lean your way. It was clear that the board decided on Netflix. There is a reason. Now, Paramount offered more money. There must be another reason. I don't know what it is. I'm not a board member. But Paramount has two of the wealthiest people in the world, Ellison and his son, and they're going to use all of their power and their money and might to fight for what they want. They're not lose. And they got that from looking at how Trump operates. Trump operates when he's wrong. He doubled down on being wrong. So this is what we're in for another 3 years. Okay,
3 years. And so speaking of money, and the rich keep getting richer. Now we used to look to it to help us cook chicken or find a recipe. Now Google's parent Alphabet hit the $4 trillion valuation yesterday, and of course propelled by the AI business. It basically followed an enemies to lovers announcement from Google and Apple, reported by CNBC. As part of a multi-year deal, Google Gemini will power the iPhone maker's long-promised AI upgrades, including an updated Siri. Details are sparse, but Apple had planned to pay Alphabet $1 billion annually for its services, according to Bloomberg. So it's interesting, Dr. Jolley, we have been around long enough to remember when the late Steve Jobs and Microsoft were, I guess, in a sense, enemies or whatever, rivals, competitors. Yep. And now we have Google and Apple coming together, if you will, on AI. Are you shocked by this, or is this just how the money bounces?
Money makes strange bedfellows.
I knew you'd have one for us. Thank you. Ding, 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 ding. Yes, the young people, write it down. He's going to have 1 million of these. Money makes strange bedfellows. Yes. Amen.
The lure of money too, and the attraction of more and being powerful. Part of this is about power and being able to control the circumstances. It goes back to those circumstances. If I can't get the circumstances I want, I'll make them. And so there are lessons, though. There are lessons for everybody in this. And that's what I want us to not lose, the lessons that we can, not the negative lessons, but the business lessons, the success lessons that we can glean from, okay, we've got to create strategic alliances. We don't have to be partners. We can be alliances. There's a difference. And a strategic alliance means that I don't have to agree with all your business and partner up with you, but I do want what you bring to the table. So I want to bring my part, you bring your part, and we create an alliance to get to a certain goal. And one of the things over the years I've done in business is I don't have any partners. I have lots of alliances. And so partners over the years didn't work for me because I wanted to run my own shop and make my final calls and decisions as the CEO. But I have a lot of strategic alliances where we are working on a goal to sell more books, to do a Sirius XM. My show is an alliance. My show on HUR Voices, my show on Radio One. All of these are strategic alliances where we both bring our either hardware, software, ideas, or information, and we work together toward a goal. So
I love you, Willie. I love your wife. I love what you're doing. And I think what I love about the message, I'm 59. Me and Allison are going to be 60 this year. And the interesting thing is, for all the young people who are listening, no young people are listening, but if you find this by accident, it's so interesting, Willie. When you get to a certain, it's almost like in life, there are different seasons, as they always say. And
Yep.
then you get to a season, and Allison and I have been on platforms a long time, working
Yeah.
for others, if you will. When you
Yes.
look at a Willie Jolley, I look at people like the Dave Chappelles or the Willie Jolleys, the people who basically, it's a different world when you have made your own and created your own platform and, like you said, alliances. But when you're your own CEO, it's a whole different world than when you work for somebody else. And even
Correct.
gets even deeper as we get older, and you
Yes.
understand how, those platforms that hire you as you get older, you become less valuable to them. But
Yes.
but you're still super valuable. And
Yes.
but a lot of times, those of us who've worked for people don't know how to. And so look to a Willie Jolley and learn so much. And people like Willie Jolley. I said Dave Chappelle because when he got, the whole issue with his deal, his deal, and he walked away from, they say, $50 million, he actually became stronger when he became a free agent, right? And then has these alliances now, like Willie Jolley speaks of. And so I look at, on radio, I'm a radio guy for those who don't know, I look at DJs and how DJs, the guys that spin the records, DJs, how they are much more better businessmen and women, because they understand the power of of having your own business and making opportunities happen. And then they also understand the power of, when you have a platform, if you don't do business, if you're not selling yourself, if you're not getting gigs, then what are you doing? That's the part that I think that, if, again, anybody who's watching this, working for somebody, if you're a personality, if you are a talent, if you're working for someone and you have that platform, always create opportunities off that platform. I see Willie, if you ever seen Willie Jolley at a party, oh, Willie Jolley is closing, baby. He's always be closing. How you doing? He's smiling. He's warm. He's going to shake your hand, but he also going to say, hey.
That's right.
Talk to you real quick.
ABC, always be closing. ABC, always be closing. Okay, a couple things you said that I want to share with people. One of the things I talk about, the new book is Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. And in the book, I talk about the fact that there are 8 streams of income, and everybody should have at least 2 of these streams of income. Everybody should have at least 2 of the streams of income. No one should have just one stream of income, because if it gets jacked up, you are jacked up.
Amen.
And so you need to have multiple streams of income. Second thing, with media people, I had a conversation with a TV guy who interviewed me last year on a specific TV network. This year, when I went to promote the book, he wasn't there. So I did have his number. I called him afterwards. He said, I got fired. And I said, but let me ask you, did you listen to me when I talked to you last year, when I whispered in your ear? What did I tell you? He said, yeah, I listened. He said, you told me the day you get hired, start working on your exit plan.
Well, are you talking about me?
No, not. I've told you this as well, and told all my media friends, the day you get hired, start working on your exit plan. So what you just said was, how you using that platform to build your brand and build your list. Everybody should have a list, a social media list that you can influence. So he said, I listened to you and I started that day doing it. So when that ultimate dismissal came, I had a plan in order to move forward, and I'm executing it. I said, bravo. So that's why I say, everybody, the day you get hired, if you are an employee, you should be working on your exit plan. And I'm gonna talk more about a young man I met in Cleveland, Ohio, star Cleveland Browns football player, and the fact that he thought he was wealthy when I talked to him, but he really was just rich. And rich is good. The book is called Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better. Rich is good, but wealthy is so much better. I'll tell you about that story in a moment.
And we're gonna have to interview. I see. Stan Richards says, "What's up? What's going on, Stan? Speaking of money, should have known."
Stan Richards, from the bus to the Bentley. Okay, that's my dear friend. Okay, yeah, he's a dynamite. He and his wife Sharice are dynamite entrepreneurs, and I love them both so much.
And so we're gonna do one more story, and then we'll get to you, Willie. So
right.
because I love, this is great, Willie. This sounds like it might be a podcast, Willie
I
and Mark. But anyway,
yes, I think so.
because so we all remember, again, Willie, it's funny. And I'm in this phase. It could be because I'm about to turn 60. I'm very reflective. I'm very sentimental. And I think what I realize is, you realize what our parents would to say, you know, we've been around a long time. You see, like when we remember when I remember when Aldi came out. I don't know where you were, Willie, but I'm in Springfield, Illinois. We went to Aldi in Springfield, and there was the peanut butter. It didn't say Aldi peanut butter. It said peanut butter. It said eggs said eggs. It was no frills when it first came out. And then over the years, I started noticing, like in DC, what I noticed was when all these made a switch. So, you know, they didn't used to have organic fruits and vegetables. But what I realized when I went to Silver Spring, which has a huge, island influence for Hispanic population, the island influence, who buy fruit and vegetables every day, I started noticing that, wait a minute, now Aldi has organic fruits and vegetables. And yes, Aldi is expanding. So Aldi announced yesterday they will open 180 stores in the U.S. this year, continuing an aggressive expansion that's counting on the groundbreaking notion that consumers prefer cheaper alternatives in the face of inflation. I think Aldi is also owned, though, by like a big grocer. I forgot which one. It might be Whole Foods. But interesting. We remember when Aldi first came out. Do you remember that? Where were you, Willie, when it came out?
Yeah, I remember Aldi. I remember when they came out. And the lesson here that you want to take a note on: we must expand or become expendable.
Come on now.
We must expand or become expendable. If we keep doing the way everybody's been doing, we're going to lose. So we have to grow. And Einstein said the thinking that got us to where we are today will not get us to the next level. And so therefore, Aldi said we started with just eggs and peanut butter, but we realized we're competing with Needle, and we're competing in a very small niche where we are underpriced supermarket or grocery store. We've got to expand to that market that likes organic and is willing to pay a little more for it. We've got to expand. So all of these folks are realizing that there is a battle. You know, I have a sign on my desk here. It says, life is a fight for territory. When you stop fighting for what you want, what you don't want automatically takes over.
Come on now.
All right. So I got to keep fighting for what I want. And just like you said, when I go in a room, it's ABC. I'm meeting, I'm networking, I'm working the room, because somebody in there needs what I got. And somebody in there, I can help them. And that's my goal. You know, Zig Ziglar said, if you help enough other people get what they want, you're going to get everything you want. So my first goal when I go in that room is meet these people. What can I do to help you get what you want? Because if I help you get what you want, I'm gonna get what I want.
Shout out to my hometown brother Benji Frazier has joined the conversation in the comments, and Benji is another one of those people, one of those warriors, Willie, has talked about his journey. He got me fired up for the fitness journey. He's in his 50s too, looking amazing. He's dealt with tragedy, and he's helped share that on social media. And so it's so interesting. We've become closer friends on social media than we were growing up, because we went to different schools. But as grown-ups, you know, we are like close, but again, it's really social media. I haven't seen him in person in years, but shout out to you, Benji Frazier, and love you so much. So, ladies and gentlemen, and before I hop in, Willie, I just wanted to share this with you too. I'm sorry, we're gonna do this interview. So as you know, I've been Marc Clarke forever, you know, broadcaster and speaker and whatever. What I noticed when I'm doing this year, Willie, that I didn't do in the past, I'm a spontaneous speaker. I never took that. I never sat down and wrote out my speeches. I never, you know, I'm on this storytelling. I'm on this storytelling event, shortcut storytelling event at the end of the month. And I have decided to listen to my coaches. I'm writing things out, things I normally don't do, because I would just wing it, or I would just do because, you know, I have good stage presence, and because I'm used to speaking in front of crowds and I would I wouldn't say mail it in, but I was just rely on my spontaneity versus like putting in the work. So this year I'm putting in the work, and I'm so excited with it because I feel like it's going to open up a whole bunch of opportunities, you know, because when the last time I did a story, it was cool, you know, it was good, it was okay, but it wasn't like amazing, you know. Right. And so I'm trying to be amazing in 2026.
Well, the answer to your question, and write this one down, folks, is a quote from Michael Jordan, that you were relying on your talent, and you got God-given talent. You have a gift. But Michael Jordan said, talent is God-given. Ability takes work.
Come on now.
And so you when you have a talent and then you work on that talent and you perfect it, then you rise above all the others who have a talent but don't put in the work. So every day I'm trying to make my interviews better than the ones yesterday. I'm going back listening. What was good? What could I do better? I'm doing hundreds of interviews. In the last week, I've probably done almost 100 interviews since the book came out from the first of the month. I've probably done over 100 interviews. And I'm listening back to each one saying, what could I do better? When I'm speaking, the speech I will give maybe tomorrow will be better than the one I gave a couple of days ago, but the one I'll give next week will be even better because I'll continue to work on it. Now, I've been named one of the top 5 speakers in the world. I've been inducted in the Speaker Hall of Fame. I've been given the highest award in the speaking industry, the Cavett Award, and I'm the first African-American man to get that award. Yet, I want to get better. So I usually tell people, one day I'm going to really be a good speaker. One day I'm going to be really good because I'm going to keep working on it. So now I'm glad you're going to write it out. And they don't have to write. Here's what I want to give everybody. Many people have to make presentations at work, or they have to be in front of people and make some kind of comments. Don't have to write out every word. Here's what I want you to do, folks. I want you to write an outline. Write an outline and then follow the outline. Just have an outline you can glance down at. Know your materials, but then it's like crumbs that you leave. I write an outline. In fact, I was with T.D. Jakes backstage one day, and he was sitting there, and we were chatting, and he was writing out his outline. And now this is one of the greatest preachers the world has ever seen. So write down an outline, and then let the outline guide your comments or your conversations.
Perfect. And so again, something I normally wouldn't do in the old days, I would, just because I know Willie and I know the stats, I wouldn't even read an intro. I'd just say, it's my man, you know. But today I'm trying something new. He is truly a Renaissance man who is on a mission and has committed his life to help people rise above their circumstances and maximize their God-given abilities. He's a triple threat personality and a global thought leader. Dr. Willie Jolley is a Hall of Fame speaker, an award-winning singer, a popular national radio and television personality, an international best-selling author. In 2023, he was awarded the highest award in the speaking industry, the Cavett Award, which is like the Heisman in sports and the Oscars in entertainment. He is a friend. He is family. He's my man. He is Willie Jolley. Welcome to the show, Willie Jolley. How are you, sir?
Marc Clarke, I am awesome. And for those who know me, they know I start every interview saying this: I have only just a minute, only 60 seconds in it. Forced upon me, can't refuse it. I did not seek it. I did not choose it, but it's up to me to use it. I must suffer if I lose it, give account if I abuse it. Just a tiny little minute, but our eternities are wrapped up in it. So I'm grateful for this minute, this moment, this opportunity to be on the mark with my dear friend, Marc Clarke.
That boy good, ain't he? So, and so again, I said earlier, Willie, it's always a pleasure talking to you because, you know, I have lived a life where my dreams have turned into my life. And so some people, I say, when you had a lot of wins like that, then you have to share it, because some people feel like they haven't had them. They just don't realize they have. But when I've seen it actually come to fruition, when I saw Willie back when Willie had hair,
hello,
as a speaker, and one day I got a chance to have lunch with Willie. And let me tell you something, boy, Willie at lunch, he gonna eat lunch. Don't think it's gonna be just conversations. Willie, we had lunch, and Bethesda and Willie, he was tearing up some whatever he was having. He was going all in. He wasn't just fronting. He wasn't give me a salad. He was going in. So
that's right.
And he also gave me some great advice, which I'm sure is very costly for his corporate clients. So I appreciate that, Willie. But so Willie, let's talk about this book. Speaking of wealth, rich is good, wealthy is better. Why did you write this book?
Yeah, I've been on Sirius XM for 20 years. This is my 20th season with the Willie Jolley Wealthy Ways show. And on the show for over those 20 years, I've interviewed some of the greatest wealth creators in our time. I've interviewed Bob Johnson, Sheila Johnson, both billionaires, David Rubenstein, billionaire, David Stewart, billionaire, Bill Marriott, billionaire, the co-founder of Netflix, billionaire, one billionaire after another, and many, many, many millionaires. And about 4 or 5 years ago, Mark, that proverbial light bulb that we see on cartoons went off above my head. Oh, I finally get the difference between being rich and being wealthy. Oh my goodness, I didn't know it. How could I not know it? And I thought maybe I was the outlier. Maybe I was the only one in the world who didn't know it. So I went around, I started asking people at my speeches, these corporate events I do, or churches or conventions, wherever I'm speaking. I say, hey, I want to ask y'all a question. What to you is $1 million? And the number one answer that people would say, $1 million. I mean, what to you is rich? And the number one answer was $1 million. Rich is $1 million. Okay, if rich is $1 million, then tell me what's wealthy. They'll sit and they'll think, they'll look up in the air, they'll ponder for a moment. They'll say, well, I guess it's 5 million, 10 million, a billion. Oh, so I'm not the only one who doesn't know. And if you don't know, how can you hit it? See, if I gave you, Mark, and all the people who are listening and watching, a rock and said, hit a wall that's close to you. Well, of course, I hit it right there. Now, let me give you that rock again, but this time before I have you go into that action, let me put a blindfold on you and turn you around and around and around till you don't know which direction you are facing. Is it still as easy to hit that same wall? No, because you can't hit what you can't see. And it's even harder to hit what you don't know. So most people don't know what wealth is, yet they say, I'm building wealth, or I'm building generational wealth, but it's not definitive. And I knew that it has to be definitive. So after I had discovered this, I called these billionaires I'd interviewed on my show back and said, hey, I got a question for you. I have a theory here. Am I right? And he said, you're absolutely right. Well, why didn't you tell me in an interview? Well, we're too busy creating wealth. Plus, you have the platform. You got Sirius XM. You got daily syndicated radio. And you've got books. Put it in a book. We need to have a book. I said, okay. And so I started working on the book, and it's taken me a couple of years. Now, let me tell you an experience that really draws this out. I was in Cleveland. I told y'all I was in Cleveland, and I was speaking for a number of events. On Friday night, Ben Crump and I, super lawyer, and I did an event. Saturday had an event, and then Sunday morning I spoke at a church. And so Saturday afternoon, the client who brought me to Cleveland took me to lunch at a nice restaurant. Well, in the restaurant was this star football player, if I said his name, everybody know him from the Cleveland Browns. And he was walking by with his entourage. And my client says to him, hey, come over, I want you to meet somebody you need to know. He comes over, he has his fur coat on and his jewelry around his neck and his diamond bracelet on his wrist, and he looks great. I said, wow, this young man is making it happen. And so my client says, this is Dr. Willie Jolley. He teaches people how to become wealthy. And the young man said, I'm already wealthy, but I guess I can learn more. I gave my card and he left. After he left, I said to my client, I said, let me tell you something. I don't know his financial situation, but I'm going to tell you, I bet you dimes to dollars. He thinks he's wealthy, but he's really rich. And rich is good. But the owner is wealthy. See, that young man, he got a contract to play football that was worth millions of dollars because he was good on that field. And he ran up the field, he ran down the field, he caught the ball, or he tackled people. He went to to training camp. He did all the work and sweat and blood that they had to do to become a professional football player. And as a result, he became rich. The owner never ran up and down the field. The owner never put on any pads, didn't get hit, didn't have to sweat. But when the game was over, that young man went home with a nice check, but the owner went home with billions of dollars. Rich is good. Rich is good, but wealthy is so much better. And so that is why I'm trying to get this book, a definitive version of what is wealth, so that everybody can do. So the book has two focus areas. Number one is all the people who want to be wealthy, but they don't know how to get there. And I'm going to teach them what I've been taught by these billionaires and millionaires over these last 20 years. That's the first group. The second group, though, is where we're seeing the biggest number of sales. People are buying the book like crazy and buying it in volume, 7, 8, 9, 10 copies at a time. One lady bought a box. She said, I have children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews, godchildren. All of them have to read this book before they get in my will. Not one of them is going to get in my will if they don't read this book. Here's the second group. All the people who have worked hard all their lives, struggled, saved, sacrificed, done without to create a nest egg, and they're concerned their children are going to squander it. Or as one man said to me, Dr. Jolley, my number one fear is my children will not treat my money like I treated it. And they're going to go through in months what it took me decades and decades and decades and decades to grow. I need that book for all my children.
Well, some people may have to go. Can they get it on your website? Win with Willie?
Wealthwithbetty.com or winwithwillie.com. Winwithwillie.com. I dropped that, but the direct place is Rich is Good, Wealthy is Better.com, and you get an autographed copy when you buy it from there.
Okay, good, because my people, shout out to my people, wanted there in the comments. And,
yeah, but Win with Willie will get it as well. You'll be able to get it as well.
And so, Willie, I just want to chime in. This is a story that people have heard many times before, but it's not about rich or being wealthy, but it was a moment I had that I like to share to remind people who may be in the same space. For those who don't know, I'm married to Allison Seymour, who's a news anchor in Washington, D.C. Beautiful woman, amazing. Most people say, how did he get her? Okay, that's always been the case. So years ago, Allison's first boyfriend was actor Jeffrey Wright. Right?
Wow.
And so, years ago, when I was on the Big Fat Morning Show in 92Q in Baltimore, I was making about $300,000. I had this beautiful wife and 3 lovely daughters. And Jeffrey Wright was in town along with Terrence Howard. And so, Willie, we're taking a picture. Terrence Howard, Jeffrey Wright, Steve Harvey. And we're taking a picture. And I had the thought, I'm normally not this guy, Willie. I'm not the jealous type. I'm not the envious type. But in that moment, I thought to myself, man, I wish I was like Steve Harvey. I wish I was, I was jealous. I was envious.
Yeah.
I was envious.
Yeah.
And not too long after it, I lost my $300,000 job. It was like the universe said, oh, okay. Well, you don't think you're making enough? You don't think you're successful? Let me take this about you.
Right.
Now, where are you? And at the time, when you talk about wealth, Joe, my friend said health is wealth. But look, I had my health, had a beautiful family. You can't compare yourself to other people. This was, Steve Harvey had a couple failed marriages.
Right.
At the time, Jeffrey was going through his marriage situation, and here I was wanting what they had. But I think a lot of times when we talk about being wealthy and money, we get all confused about that. So
let me jump right in there. Yeah, let me jump right in there because somebody said something. In the book, I talk about the 5 types of wealth. The 5 types of wealth. Of course, financial wealth, we all expect to be one that we think about. But the most important wealth is health. Health is the most important wealth because what good is all the money if you're sick? It is reported that Steve Jobs said on his deathbed, I would give it all away for more time. Then you got relationship wealth. The third type is so financial, health, relationship. It's not just where you're going, who's going with you and who's going to be with you at the end. Okay. And that's the part that you are blessed with, because you got that wealth. You got a great relationship with a wife who you love and loves you, and 3 beautiful daughters. So you got relationship wealth. Then you got reputational wealth. We call it the brand. What's your brand, and what do people say about you in the marketplace, and what allows you to continue to grow opportunities? So you got financial, you got health, you got relationship, you got reputational, and then the 5th wealth is intellectual capital wealth. What do you know? And what are people willing to pay you for what you know? See, those are 5 distinct types of wealth that I write about in the book. And then one more thing I want to share with people, the 5 money mindsets. Where do you fit in one of these mindsets? So the lowest mindset is the one-day mindset. The guy on the corner every day, you see him at the same place with a cardboard box saying, give me enough money for today. And he repeats that over and over again every day. One-day mindset. Then you got the 30-day mindset. People who are on fixed income, who are, whether they're on Social Security, whether they're on retirement, whether they're on welfare, that they live month to month. Then you got the 1-year mindset. And that's the people who often are called the middle class, who think year to year. Did I get a cost of living raise this year? Did I make more money this year than last year? Then you got the decade to decade mindset, which are the people who typically we see in athletics or entertainment. A baseball player will get a 10-year contract to play baseball, $100 million. And for 10 years, he's balling. He got 5 Rolls Royces, 3 Bentleys, 8 homes. He's got money, and he has the table service at the club. He got it going on. But if he does not get that contract renewed, and if he does not get hurt, and he does not continue after 10 years, and if he does not modify his lifestyle, he's going to be broke. And that is why over 70% of professional athletes are broke 5 years after retirement. Finally, you've got the wealthy mindset. That's called the generation to generation mindset. The Bible says that a good man or woman leaves an inheritance for their children's grandchildren. So what we want to do in this book is get each level to go up 1 level. So my goal is to get the 1-day guy to go up to the 30-day, the 30-day person to go up to the 1 year, the 1 year person to get up to the 10-year, the 10-year person to get up to the generation. Now, it's too big a spasm or chasm for the 1-day guy to get to the generation. But if I just get him to the 30-day, I'm happy. And the 30-day to the 1 year, I'm happy. And 1 year to the 10-year, I'm happy. And the 10-year to generation. That's what we're trying to do, is create for real, generational legacy wealth, that your children's great-grandchildren will know who you are because of what you have left for them. And see, many people don't know who their great-great-great-great-grandparents are, because their great-great-great-great-grandparents might not have done anything to leave anything that they would make that significant, except they've created a life by having a child. But the Rockefellers know who their great-great-great-grandfather is. The Kennedys, the Carnegies, they all know who their great-great-great-great-grandfather and great-great-great-great-grandmama are, because they created a wealth system. And that's what we're trying to teach in this book. Rich is good, wealthy is better. It's going to look. Here's my biggest compliment. I've been on all these interviews. I've had over and over and over again the same comment from interviewers who've read the book. They say, Dr. Jolley, this book, in our estimation, is the sequel to Think and Grow Rich. Wow.
Yeah,
wow.
I was thinking about that. Perfect.
Yeah, it's a sequel to Think and Grow Rich. In 1937, Napoleon Hill had interviewed the titans of business of his time and wrote a book of those lessons called Think and Grow Rich. Became the #1 self-help book in history. Next to the Bible, has made more millionaires than any other book. Well, for the last 20 years, I've interviewed the titans of business of this time, put it in a book, and it's changing people's lives already. It's only been out of a few weeks, and I've had people call and say, I got the books, I went through it in a day, and I'm changing my habits and my ways of doing business. I'm changing because I want to be wealthy and not just rich.
And so, Willie, we in our community, especially, the whole analogy, I remember the late Bernie Mac kind of said it in his thing. I'm not leaving them anything. You can't take it with me. I can't take it with me, so I'm going to spend all of it. Do you think that kind of mentality works against us?
You know, I hear people say that I'm still spending up my inheritance. Here's the problem. Nobody knows how long they're going to live. And many times people do that, and then they outlive their money. And as one of the people I interviewed who's in his 90s, a multimillionaire, said, let me tell you something. It's worse to be poor when you're old than when you're young. Because when you're young, you can find new ways. You got energy. But when you're poor and you're old, said that's the worst thing you want to do. So I say that the people who are in our community who say that, sometimes they say it with fun, but they don't know how long they're going to live. So they've got to have resources, that they have a nest egg. And if you're wealthy, here's the thing. See, here's the mindset shift here. They're saying, I'm getting rich and I got a pool of money that I'm a draw from. While the wealthy say, I've got a group of assets that I own that give me money. And when I'm dead, they still gonna give me money. We're gonna give my children money. They're gonna give my grandchildren money. I'm gonna live good. I'm gonna get a nice car. I'm gonna go on vacation, but I got this asset that just spends off money to me every year. Spends off. Okay, let me tell you about the difference about generational wealth. I interviewed the president of the Dale Carnegie Institute. I write about him in the book. And I asked him, okay, Dale Carnegie wrote the book, How to Win Friends and Influence People. And he started a company that teaches people leadership and communication skills. I said, so what's your business model? He said, we have a franchise model. I said, how many franchises around the world? He told me it was a lot of franchises around the world. I said, how much is the franchise fee annually? He told me the number. I did quick calculation. That much money by that many franchise. Whoa, that's a lot that's millions and millions and millions of dollars coming into your company. I said, where can I buy some stock? He said, you can't buy stock. I said, why not? He said, because it's a private company. I said, what company owns the company? He said, no company owns the company. The family owns the company. And then I asked him the question that blew my mind. I said, well, how long have they owned the company? 125 years. So for 125 years, each year they get millions of dollars into. So they can try and spend all of it, but it's going to come back next year with more money. And so here's the secret. You got to teach your children how to protect the golden goose. The goose that lays the golden egg. You got to teach them so that they don't kill the goose. See, the Vanderbilts didn't teach their children how not to kill the golden goose. And Anderson Cooper, who is a Vanderbilt, his mama was Gloria Vanderbilt. Anderson Cooper, when he was a child, his mama said, we don't have no more money. The trust fund is gone.
Wow.
So that's why he's on TV, and he does well. But they didn't teach. The earlier generation didn't teach. They stopped having parties and spending money. And the world had changed because they didn't protect the golden goose. Our job as parents is, okay, kids, we worked hard for this, and we're going to live good on this. But when we die, now it's going to go to you. Don't squander it. One generation's ceiling should be the floor for the next generation. We want to teach our children, take good care of this. This is a blessing. And then when it comes to you, you see it as a blessing and not as a lottery hit, okay? Or a payday where you go to Vegas and get some red bottom shoes and a Gucci purse and stuff we didn't do. You go do that and the money's gone, okay? That's what we got to teach. And teach our children that when we leave them the house and an insurance policy, don't fight over the house. Don't fight. We put in what we want it done. And I recommend you get a will or a trust, but don't fight over the house. And then one of the children says, I want my part. and then they have to sell the house. The house is gone, and they starting back at ground zero. We got to stop and teach our children. That's why this book is so powerful, because unfortunately, Mark, most parents I know, and you don't have to say nothing here, because I don't know your situation, but most parents I know who got more than one child has one child who's not good with money. You ain't got to say nothing. Okay. you and the parents worked hard, put those kids through school, and they got a job, but yet they come up every month a little short on their rent, a little short on their car note. They need a little help. Okay. And we see this so often because children often can't hear from their parents how they got to be successful. The parent will talk to them and they just can't hear it. But my book is the answer to that. It's called The Stranger from Afar Phenomena. Some stranger who's not you will come along and say the exact same thing you've been saying. And they get it. All of a sudden, illumination, enlightenment, okay? It ain't just for you, it's for me too. My daughter, when she was a teenager, had a bad attitude. I'm the attitude guy. I teach major corporations how to have an attitude of excellence, how to turn setbacks into comeback with a positive attitude. But she couldn't hear it from me. When I talked to her, she heard wah, 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 wah. But I was on the phone one day with my dear friend, Keith Harrell, the late, great speaker, author of Attitude is Everything. And I was telling him about my situation with my daughter. He said, give me your number. He called her. He talked to her for 20 minutes. Shift. Her attitude shifted. She was wonderful. So this book is your answer. This is your, look, folks, rich is good, wealthy is better is the answer to your problems. Get multiple copies.
Willie, I'm so excited about this book, man. I'm so excited about it. I didn't get my free book yet, but I don't know.
You got one coming. You and Allison, my dear friends, I love you, and you're beautiful. You married the most beautiful woman on TV. I say that to her. I tell her all the time. I say, you're the most beautiful, not just physically, but in and out. She's beautiful, but she's just a wonderful person. I love Allison. She's so kind. And so you and Allison got a book coming, and we just got to hook up so I can autograph and get it to you.
Oh, we got to autograph it, and I want the wife signing it too. And Willie, again, I really do feel like this is this generation's Think and Grow Rich. And I'm not going to say anything about the other, but I'm going to say I think you're, as a character guy, I know you personally. It's a different story with you, and I'm so excited because this was first of all, it was brilliant. Before I get you out of here, Willie, so when we talk about, you've talked to wealthy people. I know you know wealthy people. Shoot, you're a wealthy person. But I noticed, Willie, you and your wife are prime examples. Super health-wise, you have this energy. You have it's not attached to age. You've always been the same high energy, kind of doer type guy. Is that a part of the wealthy have that in common too, or not necessarily?
Well, I think that wealthy are focusing on their health, and their health gives them energy. And one more thing, wealthy people often understand the importance of gratitude, and that gratitude is a critical part of your psyche for success. Being grateful, finding something to be grateful for every day. I was in the gym this morning. I saw a friend of mine. He came up to me. He said, Willie, today's a big day. I said, what is today? He says, a significant day. I said, what is it? He said, it's my 80th birthday. I said, what? He looks like he's in his 60s. I said, you're 80? He said, yes. He said, and I'm so grateful. And you know what? That's the secret why he's there. First, he was in the gym. And second, he was grateful. Look, this book, I want to tell one more thing about this book. It didn't come from me. It came through me. Okay, this is a blessing. God blessed me with the content in this book to bless others. And so I'm just teaching what I've been taught. There are 3 stools or 3 legs to the wealth stool, and anybody can do these. First is income. You must have income. Now, the more the income, the better. Then you must live below that number, which is the top number. Live below your means and invest the difference. And then you must have insurance. You must have insurance, health insurance, life insurance, long-term care insurance, disability insurance, so that if something bad goes wrong or goes south, you don't have to take out of your money you've been saving and investing to attach to that. Okay. So I wish I could tell y'all that I made all this stuff up. I didn't. I just took the interviews, I wrote down the information, and I am sharing it. I'm teaching what I've been taught. And wealth is a skill. Let me say that. Wealth is a skill. And like any other skill, it can be taught.
Willie Jolley, what a blessing to have you. What a blessing to know you. Get the book. You can actually go to winwithwillie.com. But Willie, you suggest going where?
Rich is good, wealthy is better.com. Rich is good, wealthy is better.com. And you get an autographed copy when you order it there.
I love it. Willie, thanks so much for this great information. Thanks everybody who checked it out, who's watching this at whatever time you're watching it. Make sure you follow and like the channel. And again, this actually is my my first episode of the season on the Mark, and it starts with one of my friends, Willie Jolley. You knocked that out the park, brother. You knocked that out the park, but I knew that.
Well, I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored to call you my friend and your beautiful wife and those 3 beautiful girls. And so I'm grateful, and I look forward to seeing everybody. And as I say at the end of my XM show every week, for sure, your best is yet to come. God bless you.
God bless you. On the Mark. All right, have a good one. I'll see y'all.
We on the Mark. Welcome to On the Mark with Marc Clarke. Mark bringing you entertainment news, interviews and hot topics, lifestyle news, sports and more. With fun and informative content. Got it locked in.